And we don't want to be liable for that, so we had to switch because we were forced to.
Once we got kicked out, basically, of the big system.
Right.
Bienvenidos a nuestro canal. Yo soy Pablo. And we are Familia Pablanu.
Hi guys, welcome back. We're going to be talking about the birth of our third child, our first home birth story. So the pregnancy. How was the pregnancy again?
I remember. So this was our third birth, and
Right.
It was before we made any lifestyle changes.
Right.
So at that time, let's see, you had, like, the most vivid memory I have is early on, first trimester.
There was some kind of bleeding, right?
Yeah, you had some kind of crazy bleeding somewhere.
Was at 12 weeks? Yes, 12 weeks. Yeah, and we went to I called our doctor's office, and they were like, "Sorry, there's nothing we can do for you right now. Just wait it out."
On a Sunday, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, because even if it's too early, it's only first trimester. You're not in second yet, and even if you are, there's not much you can do if there's bleeding, and just hope for the best and hope that the baby's doing well. But the thing is, I went to pee on the toilet, but I can feel this baby. The baby was moving, moving and
regularly.
Yes, and we and so everything. The baby was still moving constantly and no problem. So by the time we went to the doctors later on, that was 13, 14 weeks or something to check up. The baby was fine, just jumping was fine. The heart rate was good. Yeah.
So a little bit about the bleeding. So how
Yes.
much, kind of compared to like your menstrual bleeding, how much bleeding was it at that time?
It was a little bit more than spotting, and I looked online. Oh my gosh, you're not supposed to be having any blood or anything, but I looked online. It says, a little bit of blood staining your pad is good and all that stuff. I'm like,
Or it's not bad, at least.
yeah, that's not too bad. But I'm like, there's a little clot here and there. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awful. Why is this happening? But I noticed that it wasn't new blood. It wasn't bright red. It was old blood. There's a little bit of blood, a clot, tiny bit, but it was still old blood. So I was like, that gave me a little peace of mind. Like, at least it's not bright red. And also, I can feel this baby. I know that this is fine. This baby is fine. So that was, even though the doctor said there's nothing we can do for you, it did give me a little peace of mind knowing that the baby's fine.
And by the way, sorry if you hear a lot of dump trucks. There's something going on over here with the neighbors. But yeah, if there's some bleeding, I mean, really, there's really nothing you can, nothing the doctors can do.
They said we should go to emergency, but the thing is, it would have cost a lot of money if we did. And they said there's nothing. Even the nurse told me there's nothing they can do. They can check, do an ultrasound, and you still have to pay for emergency visit and all that.
And it's like if there's a problem,
Yes.
then it means that the baby wouldn't be able to make it anyways.
Yes,
And if there's
yes.
not a problem, then you don't do anything and you just keep eating well and drinking well and sleeping well and do the best you can.
Right. Now going back,
Yeah.
and 5 weeks when we got pregnant, I could have sworn it was twins because this baby wouldn't stop moving since I was able to feel the baby at 5 weeks.
I mean, each one was really, strong. Each baby was stronger than the last, but this one was like
I could swear
ridiculously
it's
strong.
twins because it would.
Like, there's one here and there's one there.
Yeah, it felt like it went from the left to the right. I'm like, it's not possible for a little.
And I was like,
fetus.
couldn't that be like the head on one side and the feet on the other?
And now, yes, we did the ultrasound, and of course, this baby was moving all this way. The leg was ooh, and the head was. I'm like, I feel that. I could feel that. Oh my god! And then it said, oh yeah, for your own peace of mind, it's just one. I'm like, oh thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God.
So the reason why we had this whole twin scare is because apparently on the evening of conception, which happened to be, we think, April Fool's. That was the exact day when we played a prank on some friends and some relatives, and we I think we texted them or called. No, I think I texted them, and I was like, "Oh hey," because we were like, "Oh, we're not pregnant yet, but I think we conceived that evening."
Right.
But
let's prank them.
Let's prank them because they're always pranking us. So I pranked them, and I said things like, "What did I say? Hey,
we just find out when to the ultrasound.
Yeah,
we found out that we're having twins."
Don't mind the dump trucks. No shots fired, just dump trucks.
So that happened, and after that, and then we find out that we're pregnant. Not
and then
long
we're like,
after
oh
that.
crud! What if we're actually?
What if it's actually twins?
What if it's actually twins? Like, what if we're the ones pranking ourselves on this?
And then, of course, I was feeling babies since 5 weeks, and I thought, oh my gosh, it's got to be twins. Oh my gosh,
because he was super strong. It was the first boy we'd had.
And just so people know out there, if you're having your second or your third, and you're able to feel it early, like I do, yes, it is possible to feel one baby in two places. It is possible to feel the head here and the leg there. It doesn't mean that it's two.
Like, you have to feel in like 8 places, you know?
So it's possible. This is one of those questions on Baby Center. Now I can tell people for real that it is possible. Anyways, moving on from that, and everything was unremarkable after that. It was active and very well, doing well. We were not we didn't know if it were a boy or girl. They did the 20 weeks anatomy ultrasound. Everything looks great. Baby was healthy and doing well. And the ultrasound tech, I was asking, please don't tell me if it's a boy or girl. What is it, a boy or girl? I don't know. Am I a bad parent to want a boy? Because now we've had 2 girls back to back. Like, I really do want a boy, you know. Do you think I'm a bad woman for saying that? Just like, no. I mean, if it's a girl, you're gonna love her just as much. But she didn't tell me. But I asked, is it a boy? And she smiled. So that gave me a little clue, like thinking, this might be a boy, but we don't know. We didn't know.
I was pretty sure it was a boy, but because every single pregnancy up until then, I was like, oh, this has got to be a boy. Because Elena was really strong. You could feel everything with Elena.
Yes.
So I was like, gotta be a boy. But then when Bella came along, it was like super strong, like much stronger than Elena even. And I was like, this has gotta be a boy.
And it was.
So then for the third one, I was like, okay, this is probably a boy, but I'm gonna say it's a girl, and then it'll be a boy. Since it was the opposite last time. So I just kept saying, oh, it's a girl.
Reverse psychology, probably a boy,
pregnancy. But I'm gonna say it's a girl. Right. I'm just gonna reverse psychology. And there was a big difference at the beginning of the pregnancy because in the first trimester,
the cravings, the difference in the cravings. I remember I was craving a lot of meat, red meat. I want some lamb. I want some meat, and greens too. I ate a lot of that. I just couldn't stop. And give me all that meat.
Yeah, for your birthday, you were like, I just want meat. So I went out and I bought like, I don't know, like 20 pounds of beef and stuff, and just did all these steaks on the grill, and we ate that for like weeks.
It was awesome. All the meat. That didn't help me in the process of pooping.
No,
but that was that. So, and then second trimester came along. I mean, of course, this was second trimester, of course. I was thinking, it's a little bit different. And then we went to doctor's appointment, and this was 2020 when COVID started happening, and it was going to be around, and it's really locked down and crazy and all that stuff. And we were thinking, wait, at the hospital, especially with what happened with Bella's birth, when everyone was just so annoying. Not everybody, but the people, when it was time to give birth, and they were just there
maybe it was before, but okay,
Right,
maybe it
you
was.
said
But
that.
yeah, I was looking into it
I
before.
remember you asked me during Bella, you're like, let's look into home birth. I'm like, what do you mean home birth? No.
And plus, we were living in an apartment, and it was kind of like,
No, no, when we moved here, you said that too, actually.
I said it again?
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
okay.
like, to keep it safe, make it safe, let's do the hospital. And plus, one thing I would miss, I said, I would miss the hospital food. I don't want to leave the hospital food. Anyways, so
Well, no, we had looked. I know we had looked at that before, Elena. I know I had.
You did. You
And
did.
we had
You told
we
me.
had discussed it because I remember saying with Elena saying, okay, well, this is our first, so let's just do it in the hospital, and then for the second, we did it in the hospital because even though we were living, further away, and the reason why is because of what you said about you just liked being in the hospital and having the postpartum, being able to just sit there and let people bring food to you and all this kind of stuff. You like that, so I was like, all right, sure, we'll pay for a
It's like a
hotel,
room service, yes.
really expensive hotel where people wake you up every hour or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyways,
we were like, okay, it's getting a little bit scary with this COVID stuff. How about we look into a home birth?
and you also were just like, I don't want to go back there.
Yes,
I don't want to have 30 people sitting around just watching me, standing around watching me. And I don't want that.
Yeah. I didn't like that at all. So we're like, okay, what about? And another option is that, what about we tell them what we want them to do? We tell them stuff that this is still our birth. We can tell them what we want them to do and all that stuff. But we realize that no matter how much you tell them what to do, they still have this. They already have this plan. Okay, if it's not going as planned, they have already their agenda. They're gonna give you pitocin even if you don't want it. They're gonna force that, or they're gonna do. They try to.
Yeah, because we had our plan, and they still kind of just did their thing last time. If we weren't looking, they would just go through their routine. It's like
with the Bella, they had their way. They had their way with they wanted to sponge me with iodine, like the vaginal with iodine. I'm like, if I don't have my wits with me, even though I'm right there trying to give birth,
they would have done it.
They would have done it. Who puts iodine in the vaginal thing to clean it before baby is getting born? That is, I don't understand. Anyways, so things like that is just very annoying. So anyways, we looked into the home birth. And then the woman, we did a virtual visit online to get to know her. So we asked other questions, and we've already looked on our website and did our own research and all that stuff. Okay, we want to do that. So how is it gonna go? Because she does not have our doctor as, how do you say that,
so in some states, midwifery is outlawed,
right?
Especially where there are like these big old
monopoly
like
hospitals and
like McHealth, sort of places like that. Sometimes they lobby the governments to completely outlaw stuff.
Right.
ACOG can be pretty strong sometimes too, but but the way it works in some states, well, other states it's completely free. It's like you can do whatever, other states are more regulated, where it's like, yes, there's midwifery, but they have to be certified. So the state that we're in, they do have to be certified, and they also have to have a doctor who's their sponsor. If they don't have a doctor who sponsors them, who's like, hey,
who have license to the main hospital, privilege,
like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird because it's like, I mean, you're gonna end up going to whatever doctor anyways. So I mean, that's not a big deal. But when we told her, we'll just stay with our own doctors and stuff, and she's like, okay, see how it works.
Right, they can accept it. Or,
and we were with a big conglomerate type, McHealth type thing.
Right, so we went for a doctor visit, and
we liked our doctor.
Of course, she's the one who delivered. Well, who
Elena.
was there with Elena?
Yeah, she was there with
birth.
Elena. Was like, don't do it.
Push.
Don't. She's like, don't push. Let me get my scrubs on. Let me get all this stuff. Yeah, she was that one. And she was great. We really liked her. Yes. She was very, very businesslike. Very good.
And then we told her that, okay, so this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to do a home birth, but can we still come here for the prenatals and all the necessity that we need to do?
Since we've already been doing it.
Right, and this is already close to 30 something weeks. And she's like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. Is it because you don't have enough money to do home birth? Because I went by myself.
No, you don't have enough money. Like is it a financial problem?
Is it a financial problem? Is that why? You want to know? I just want to know why, because there's insurance to cover the hospital birth. She's just trying to see where we're coming from. Why are you doing home birth? And we're like, no, we just wanna.
I mean, it's not like it's that much cheaper. I mean, maybe half the price.
We just wanna change. We just would like to do it in the comfort of our home.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I get you. I understand you want the comfort of your home. But she's like, but midwives, I mean, they do make a lot of mess. And you know who has to clean that mess up? It is us, the doctor, that will have to clean all that mess up. I mean, we don't want to be liable for that. So I'm gonna have to go talk to the manager or to the
supervisor or whatever,
or the hospital, the clinic manager, to see if this is possible. But I'm doubting that this is possible. Yeah, because we don't want to be liable for this when that happens, So we're like, okay, sure, okay. And I came back and I told you. I'm like, oh crap. So what is that supposed to mean now? And then of course they told us.
I was pretty disappointed.
And they called us again. They gave me a phone call and said, so what is your plan? Are you planning to do a home birth still, or you want, because if you're doing a home birth, we will have to refuse you as a patient. We will not be
something
able
like that,
to see you anymore. You're gonna have to go to see another doctor.
So dumb.
Because they said, oh yeah, midwife, she has a sponsor, so go and to that doctor.
Yeah, go to that doctor.
Yeah.
Because there's only one doctor.
Right, that doctor said, oh, I mean, he's good at his job. He knows what he's doing, so why not go to him then?
Yeah. But I mean, the thing was, I was like, I mean, if we wanted to, we could still go in there.
But then
they just wouldn't have any prior notification.
Right, and then there'll be resentment.
And they would be resentful.
Now that they know that we
and it's like, I mean, they're still gonna have to they can't refuse us.
Right.
At the hospital.
So that will come into play later. There's a lot of pressure when it comes to that. So we did. We had to switch because we were forced to, basically. So we switched to that other doctor, and it was okay. It was like, oh yeah, I mean, you come for another visit or something to check and all that. And of course, the second time I went, it was 37 weeks when the prodromal labor starts.
Right.
So I went for that visit, and the nurse practitioner at that place said, "Oh my gosh, this is your third, right? Oh my gosh, you're 3 centimeters dilated. So basically, this baby is coming any day now, any day basically." And after that,
we were like, okay. So we go and eat.
Stuffed our face with all this fatty foods.
Not good food.
We're waiting for this baby. So any day now, we're celebrating, basically.
Celebrating, telling everybody.
Yeah, any day now.
Any day now. And you were excited because you were like, I just want this over.
I was done. And by this time, I was swelling. Yeah. This was almost similar to Elena's situation, because I was getting high and that blood pressure was getting a little bit higher. And
it was a little tougher than Bella's. It was closer to Elena's. Not nearly as bad, but it was still closer to Elena's.
Yes. So I was like, okay, if it's 37 weeks, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. And then of course I said, okay, 37 weeks is not really full term. It's preterm, basically. You have to wait till close to 39 weeks. So I'm like, oh crap. Anyways, 37 weeks gone by. Baby
comes and goes. Yep.
And then 38 weeks, I went to the midwife, and I go to her regularly every week, and she checked me. And was it 37 weeks where she come? No, is it 35 for the home visit? She came for a home visit at one of this times.
Yeah, she and her assistant came just to kind of get to know us, get to see the
house and the area for the birthing and all that stuff. And
how was she when she finally met you in person?
Oh yes, I forgot about that. So I went to her office for one of the visits and stuff, and she was very kind. She was just, I mean, she knew that I know a little bit about this birthing thing, so no, she was very kind. She was kind and
respectful.
She was respectful, kind, and
which is what we were looking for.
Yeah, she went over the basics and all that stuff, and we're like, okay, so what do we do from here on? Yeah, just come weekly, and we just do a urine check and check the baby's heart rate and just says, do you have any swelling, this and that, just basic things like that, which we were learning and we're keeping. We kept a note of all that stuff. So after 37 weeks went by, 38 weeks, I went to our office. I'm like, I'm done. Do you know any ways to make this baby come? Like, I mean, you're 38 weeks. I could try to do a membrane sweep and see what happens. And like, okay, yes, anything help. And this is closer to December. So like, I can't really go out to really do much of outdoor stuff. And I was swelling. That swelling was getting a little bit more out up there. And she did a membrane sweep. And I know
her fingers were not long enough though.
No, it wasn't. And she's a shorter woman, and our fingers were not, and then
made it uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. And I was like, okay, maybe membrane sweep is not, because I went back home.
There was some blood though. I mean, blood. She separated the membranes a little bit.
But this is one of those things I said about membrane sweep.
But it was too early.
It was too early. It was 38 weeks, which means if it's early, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't really work. So 38 weeks went by, came and gone. No baby still.
39 weeks.
And then 39 weeks.
Before we get to due date time.
Yes.
So there was a couple of things. The due date was Christmas Day.
It was Christmas Day.
Which is kind of neat. So that was the scheduled due date.
Right.
And we're like, well, that's cool. And another thing was when it came to, birthing things, because we've been in the system for, 2 births already, you had gotten used to things to where it was like you couldn't even think outside of the box.
Yep.
And you asked her questions like, so... Okay.
Oh my gosh, I remember.
You said I think you actually requested that she give you Pitocin or something.
Because
even though we knew, like, we had learned for Elena's birth, we had learned that, no, you don't need Pitocin. You have natural stuff. You just put the baby, to drink milk, and that actually does it.
Oh,
the
right.
stimulation
I remember
it closes everything up.
Right. 2 of my biggest questions with the previous births was like, how do I birth this placenta naturally without needing a Pitocin shot? And also the second one was...
well, first off, you asked her that.
I asked her that. Then she said, no, you just check for detachment, bleeding. And then that's when you know to tell the woman to push and put it with a little traction on that placenta. And then the placenta will come out. I'm like, oh, you don't need Pitocin? And
you were like, what about to stop the bleeding? Like, what do you do then? You don't need Pitocin? And she's like, no, that's not a regular thing. Like, we don't regularly give Pitocin.
Right, unless needed.
And you're like, what? Which is crazy because we'd only been in the system for 2 babies. Like, it wasn't even like that much experience, and yet it still affected you to like think,
I thought it's not possible. How would it happen naturally? It's not possible.
I mean, for us too. I mean, so one of the main reasons why I didn't want to do like home birth type stuff was I just didn't want to have to clean up the mess.
That was one of the questions we asked her too. Like, what about the mess? I'm like, oh no, we just clean it up. I mean, we only need. It's not gonna be even that bad. It's
like half of a trash bag or something.
Yeah, a towel and just some paper towels and they wash the towels and stuff like that. I'm like, wait, really?
She's like, use 2 Ziplocs for 2 gallon Ziplocs, one inside the other for the placenta, and like that's pretty much it.
And the liquid and blood, they have the disposable pads that absorbs all those things.
She gave us a list of things to buy.
And then a list of things, or in a tote of things. She brought totes of things that they would use that day. So it was really good. Did she give us
the website or?
What website?
Did she give us the website of where to buy the stuff?
No, she didn't. It's just local things like olive oil, and this is just us went to.
Well, no, like the pads and stuff. Oh, we did that.
Yes,
so we did extra.
They gave us stuff, but we bought extra because we are extra like that. Okay. Anyways.
But yeah, we can always put that in the link. Put that link below, right?
In his hands. Oh, okay. Yeah, for people who wants to buy some.
In case you're interested in, if you needed some pads or things like that, or special underwear.
Oh yeah. Oh
special disposable underwear.
I would tell something later on for postpartum. It's a lifesaver. Awesome. Anyway, so we're still at 37 weeks, 38 weeks went by, and she was like, I mean, your next visit is coming up, 39 weeks. I can still do another membrane sweep. I'm like, maybe not.
Because it hurt. You're like, no, I'm not going to do another one. And it didn't work, so.
Right, so it was 39 weeks, and okay, our babies always come on due dates. And I kept telling them, so the first one came on due dates, second one on due dates with the membrane sweep, and the third one. And everyone kept telling me, babies come when they want to come, babies will not come on due dates. I can tell you this baby's going to come early, as some people say. Anyways.
Yep.
Anyways, so it was the day before due
It was
date.
the 23rd.
The 23rd.
23rd at night. I think it was 7 p.m. roughly.
Yes.
And you were like, okay, can you...
I was like, I was done.
I don't know if I offered or if you wanted me to, but anyway, so I ended up doing...
You offered a while back. I'm like, what do you mean no?
I think finally you're like, okay, let's just do it now.
Let's do it now.
And we knew it took like 12 hours, but
yes.
Just with the other girls, trying to get them ready and everything, finally it was like 7 p.m. by the time I finally was able to conduct the membrane sweep.
Yes. So you did a membrane sweep.
Right. And it had already been started, so it was pretty easy for me to kind of do. And his head was like right there.
Yeah.
It was, like,
and you're like,
right there.
oh my gosh, the head is right there. I'm like, okay, just do the
Like,
sweep.
whoa. Yeah. So I did the sweep, and then...
And after that, we waited. And then you...
Slept.
We slept, yes. And then remember you want to call people. This is, okay, one of the things I don't like is being watched while giving birth, or calling people, telling them the stats and stuff like that. I don't like it. I just feel like I'm on a time schedule, like, oh crap, they want me to give birth right now. Oh my gosh.
And you thought I would have learned from Bella, where we went to the hospital too early. You thought I would have learned from that, but no, with this time it was like, well, it's different because there's a midwife. She's like right down the road, so I'll call her.
Yeah.
So I would text her, because she was always like, yeah, it'd be good to let me know, so that way I can keep my phone nearby, stuff like that, if it's that night. So I was telling her like about 3 times a week for like starting at week like 38, 39. And finally I was like, okay, I'm going to stop. But then for this one, I was like, okay. And I was trying not to let you see me texting her, because you're like, who are you doing? Who are you texting? I was like, nothing.
I saw
just texting the midwife.
But
like, I was just letting her know, like,
and
hey,
I remember
maybe.
saying that, can't we just give birth and then they can come clean up?
Isn't that what we pay them for? Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, that's what we pay them for. I'm like, but I know, but can't we just do it? I don't want anyone
Can
here.
we just give birth and then tell them after the fact? And I had actually mentioned that to her. I was like, so what if? I was like, what if, for example, we already gave birth before you were able to get here? And she's like, well,
it has happened before, but it's just...
Yeah, but she's like, but, I'm not that far away, so, I mean, you should have time to let me know.
Right.
Please do let me know. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, but I didn't like that. I didn't like the idea. Because they would
even
just
having 1 or 2 other people there.
I didn't like that.
You don't even like me being there sometimes.
So, and then there was at night, all around the night, and it was getting to AM, or was it 5 a.m. or something? And then you called.
It was like 4 or 5, and I called and said,
and they were already on their way coming here. And
it took them a while. I kind of said, don't rush. So they didn't rush.
So by the time they got here, I was already in transition and stuff. And I know that there are 2 people just sitting and watching. Oh, going back, they gave us a list of things to buy, and one of the things are food for the midwife and the people that's gonna help. So we got a lot of the cured meat and cheeses and some broccoli and carrots just to top it up.
Like a vegetable platter and like a charcuterie platter, like embutidos.
Yeah, we did that, and that was on the thing, and that will come in play later. And so
salty stuff, crackers.
All of that stuff. So we have that already in the dining room table, and things are set up in the station. And I'm like, oh crap, they're setting things up. Things are setting. That was on the back of my mind.
And I had done that a week prior as well. I had bought food, set it out there, getting everything ready. We're like, oh, this is the day.
This is it.
It happened many times.
So it didn't happen. So
I just kept the food in the fridge until it started going bad, and then we ate it.
Right.
And then I had to buy more food, and then.
So when that time came, and then there was I was using some exercise ball in between my leg and sleeping on the bed and on the chair, on the sofa, and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling the urge to push. But that was not the urge to push yet. It was just what do you call it? it was past the transition. The transition wasn't that bad. If you can hear from the previous birth and Bella's birth, because the water is still intact, I was waiting for it to get unbearable, but it wasn't. It was really awesome.
The vaginal opening, which, especially for first-time mothers
Right.
and fathers, it's like, how can a baby come out of there?
Right.
And you're right to be thinking that that's kind of crazy, because it is small, but it does, it is able to expand.
Yes.
But it needs to be given time. And so, when you have this, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, whatever, which may take weeks to get to, that's fine. That's, well, actually, that's not the vaginal opening, but
the cervix,
the cervix and everything, all of that takes time. The contractions, think of the contractions just like what you said. Contractions are this uterus, which is a giant, muscle of a balloon,
right,
or balloon of a muscle, that just is squeezing, clamping down on this baby and pushing this baby towards that opening, right? And so as it's pushing, it doesn't just do it in one go, right? It doesn't just go, rah, baby out, done. No, it has contractions, right? And it's timed. And it's timed so perfectly and naturally that it's like, sometimes you'll have an hour between contractions and then it gets closer and closer and closer, right? So that whole closer and closer and closer is it slowly speeding up that, not speeding up the process, but doing it more and more and getting more intense. And what that is doing is it's realizing, okay, now things are stretching better, so we're going to do a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and that opening is getting slightly bigger, slightly bigger, slightly bigger.
Right.
But that rest time in between is absolutely necessary.
Right.
And not just that, but your uterus knows how to do that.
Yes.
But the uterus and the vagina, they're still not, in direct communication.
Right.
So that's where your own body comes in, your own brain comes in and says, okay, this is hurting too much.
Maybe
you're feeling that ring of fire. This is hurting too much. That's when you squeeze your kegels, squeeze the baby back up inside as best you can, and use like a warm, damp cloth to do the counter pressure. If you're like, okay, whoa, too fast.
Slow it down.
Okay, slow it down.
You can slow it down. Yes.
So that's where you kind of come in. So that I hope that's kind of a.
And the thing is, when they're saying, right, when it says it's 10 centimeter, now it's time for you to push. I hope, this is to say that, no, it's not time to push unless your body tells you to push. When that head is right there, you're crowning, and the uterus is already doing that and doing that. You actually do not need to push yet. That uterus, it actually can expel that baby out. Your job is to just make sure you don't rip, make sure you do the counter pressure. And now when the head is actually it's crowning and all that stuff, then to help it come out, give it a small little push. Give it a little push to make it come out. Not just saying, and it's not 10 centimeter. The baby, you don't even see the crown and all that. And you're like, push. No, that is where you get a lot of hemorrhoid comes out of that. A lot of perineal damage.
Like holes and stuff.
Perineal damage and all that stuff. So it's important to work with your body, to work with it and listen to when it's saying. So anyways, going to our...
Your coach or your doctor is not going to know your body better than you.
Right. It is in your body. It is in your body. That baby is coming out of you, not of them saying that push or something. So you get to control how fast or how slow and when that baby, and the uterus is going to expulsion is going to happen if you want it or not.
And quick side note, that's what we did not like about the hospitals, is that even though we said in there no telling us to put or no telling you to push or anything like that, they still did it.
They still did it. Yeah. And so anyways, it was time, and so I got a cob. We'll show a little video of it. It's a comfortable upright birth, and I looked into it and said it's supposed to help. It's kind of like a birthing chair, but it's inflatable one. And so you sit on it, and there's a hole in the middle where the baby comes out of anyways. So I was like, okay, it's 10 centimeters to check me. It's time to sit in the birthing position. So I went on the thing, and I sat on there. And then now I'm like, they're saying, okay, you're now 10 centimeters. You can go ahead and push. I'm like, no, I don't want to push it. I don't want to push yet. And they're like, oh. And another side note, so I had group B strep this time around as well.
Same as the last one.
As the last one. But I was like, I did a little bit of research, and I'm like, I'm gonna what is the word?
Use like
Try my luck. Try my luck. I'm not going to take any antibiotics, and I know this baby is gonna be fine because they said the problem comes in play when it comes in play. The problem is when the baby your water breaks about a lot of hours, 12 hours or more, before you actually deliver. And I'm like, oh, with our previous births, we usually deliver by 4 hours after the water. No. That's not even true.
No.
Baby's out in 4 hours from beginning to end. And then the water, they break the water at 10 centimeters. A baby comes in like 20 minutes or 10 minutes after that. So that's not even a thing. I'm like, okay, so we're not going to take antibiotics this time around. So that was in play.
You tried different things too, right? Didn't you try yogurt and eating yogurt?
This says putting yogurts down there and eating yogurt. I don't know how much
I think you did eat some yogurt. You did eat a lot of yogurt just to build up your bacteria and stuff.
Right.
Good bacteria.
Right, and with what we know now, it's usually it's the food that we eat that causes all this group B strep population. Anyway, so I was there. They're like, oh yeah, we will not break your water yet, but you're a 10 centimeter. Do you want to go ahead and push? I'm like, nope, I don't want to push. Please break the water.
Like, okay.
Okay, you wanna? So they did artificial rupture of membrane, and
I mean it was bulging quite a bit. So
it wasn't, not really. Sorry, we switched position because the sun was really, really hot on my face here. So we switched around. Where were we though? And they were like, okay, yeah, just follow your body, whatever your body wants, you go with your body and all that. But then I see that the midwife would check the time and look up and check time, and every 5 minutes or so.
Frustrated.
Yeah.
Oh, and the counter pressure. You had asked her to do counter pressure.
She did the warm cloth.
But didn't really know how to do it.
She didn't know how to do it. She just
basically kind of held it.
Yeah, vaguely, lightly put it there. I'm like, crap. I wish I could do it, but I didn't know I could do it.
I didn't think she knew it was supposed to be like counter pressure, like actually holding, not like just. Yeah. I think she thought it was just for feeling, like to keep it nice and warm or something.
Maybe so.
I thought that too, to be honest. I didn't know what she meant by counter pressure.
Yeah. Well, not until the next birth that I actually realized what it meant.
Also, for the counter pressure, we had looked at different ways of doing it. Like, should you just bring a hot pot out of water and just like take it out and squeeze it, or should we have like a mini? I know you wanted me to buy like a mini crock pot, like a tiny like 2-cup crock pot or something, or 4-cup crock pot or something like that. And I was like, just bring a pot from the stove.
And that's what we did for the next birth.
Yeah.
But for this one, they just went to hot water from the tap and put it there. But it wasn't doing anything.
And then it got cold.
So here she was putting vaguely one hand and then checking her time. Okay.
She was like pretty fast.
Yes.
Like getting a little frustrated. Like,
yes, I saw it though. I saw everything.
And she even said, because really, I mean, even though she was a midwife, she's still, like the doctors, still in a way legally liable, for things that happen. And so for her, it's like, okay, if things...
Our license is on the line, yes.
Right. If things get beyond a certain point in certain situations, like for example, if the water's been broken for however long and, nothing's been done, things like that, they have kind of slightly arbitrary, they're somewhat arbitrary limits on things. And so for her, it was after, I don't know, 1 hour or something after having broken the waters, if there's not progression, that she would have to transfer us. And transferring means basically washing your hands of us and sending us to the hospital.
And the doctor would take over.
To the hospital, right. So, and we didn't want that. And she actually did speak up and say, okay, just so you know, if this doesn't progress soon,
she's saying, she was started to say, okay,
we're probably gonna have to transfer you and something like that.
Right, and then
not intentionally.
Right, but for me it was a threat because I know I don't want to go back to the hospital because they kicked us out, and I know that, it was gonna be like a retaliation when we go back, and they say, "Oh, haha, we told you you'll be back," and things like that. I'm like,
oh, and another thing, so related to that,
right?
So once we got kicked out, basically of the big system,
right?
The trick is our insurance was connected to that system.
Yeah.
So, and that it's the monopoly type stuff, but it was through my work and everything, and it was the cheapest one, and it was like, hey, they have such a huge system, we've got access to pretty much everything we need. So we stayed in that for these years. And I had thought about changing it like the year before, and I really should have done it. But it wasn't until we got kicked out that I was like, okay,
Yeah,
as soon
time
as
to
open
switch.
enrollment comes, I'm switching. But the
Mhm.
problem was that wouldn't come into play until the 1st of January.
And this was
And so,
December.
although we had switched, it wouldn't technically switch to the 1st of January. So this was the 24th of December.
Mhm.
And we're just like,
How do we pay for this?
Crap,
And
you know, like-
luckily, the midwife takes,
yeah.
personal checks and HSA. And,
Yeah, so we were able to pay her up front, get
and
that
things
done
like
with.
that. Mhm,
But the
mhm.
problem with that was if we were transferred, it's like,
Oh, right. That
you
was
know,
that. That was that.
that's-
Yeah.
you know, we would have to go to them
Mhm,
if we wanted
mhm.
insurance to cover things. Like we couldn't go to another like closer hospital that's not from the system that they're in.
Right.
So that was kind of like, so our hands were kind of tied. So there was a lot of these little pressures going
A
on.
little pressure.
Bella, estamos grabando.